Good evening, everybody. It's good to have you guys here. So we'll just start once it's 5 minutes past 7. We just start. Let's just hope people join. I won't even blame them anyway. Lagos is a very crazy place. A lot of activities, a lot of things to do. We don't have time. Hello, Femi. At least let's be having our chit chat before we officially start, while we wait for people to join. Hello, Femi. Hello, Faithful.
Hi, Chiamaka. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. How are you doing? I wish I can see your face.
Okay, I'll try to on my video for a while.
Okay. Wenga, wow. Wenga, hi.
Hello, Chiamaka. How are you doing? What's up?
I'm doing fine. Hi. I know you're a football fan. I know that we two are playing match today. I think it's actually now where I am.
Lots of matches have gone on already.
And it's already 1-1.
They equalized.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. Don't mind. I'm seeing it on the screen here. So when they earn, I will not shout, I will not be distracted. I refuse to be distracted. So that's fine. Faithful, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm great.
Okay. How's your weekend going? Did you go out today? You had some work to do?
Yeah, no, I didn't do any work today. Just personal running around. Yes.
Are you Netflixing? Are you doing
not yet, but I'll do that after this call.
Oh, that's nice. Hello, Femi. How are you doing?
Hi, Chiamaka. Good evening. Hi.
Femi looks like someone that I've been walking throughout this weekend. Look at his face.
It's so obvious.
He looks like someone that I've been doing office work.
I just go back
from work, actually. Yeah, you just go back from BI. We know.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Walk. No rest. Easy. You will blow soon, don't worry. Yeah, what is happening? Wow. People have not joined yet, but we'll start off anyway. Because our meeting today is supposed to be 1 hour, 30 minutes, and I don't want to. So I can also admit somebody, John.
Yes, you can, but don't worry about that. I'm handling that. People are joining already.
Okay. Oh, if you're just joining, you're welcome. We said we'll be starting soon, just a minute more. We just kick off with the conversation. We'll pray, we'll talk. At least I have an amazing speakers today that will be sharing their experience. The topic we are talking about today is very, very important. It's very key. We can get so busy with work, and we'll forget the main thing. We'll forget that there is life and there are other things that are also important. So, all right, I think we have up to 12 people here.
Hello, Chiamaka. Are you there? Femi, can you confirm if you can hear me, or is it my internet?
I can hear you, John.
Okay. Let us just wait for the host for her to join again. I think she disconnected while we wait for others to join.
So sorry, I I went off. Sorry. Oh, well, it's a bit of network issue. All right, let me start my prayer again. Sorry about that. In Jesus' name, Father, we thank you. We give you glory, we give you honor. We thank you for a time like this. We thank you for the platform. We thank you for people gathered here today. We'll give you praise. We exalt you in Jesus' name. We pray. Father, thank you for what we are going to learn today. Thank you for experiences we're going to share. Lord, we pray that you give us wisdom, even in all the discussion. Lord, we'll pick out things and help shaping our lives and make our life better in the name of Jesus. For in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. Thank you all. Thank you for joining. It's been amazing. How are we all doing? How is your weekend going? How is everything going on with you? I know that this platform is basically for singles. I know some married people also, they also sometimes join us in this kind of conversation to also name. Thank you all for joining. How are you doing? So I'm starting off by saying, if this is your first time of joining this kind of this conversation, joining 412, and some people joined while we're having one of our mingle, hanging out, talks like this, discussions like this. Why some they just added them to the group because they picked interest. So if you're just joining us, I want to explain a bit what 412 is all about. 412 is a platform under the Youth Ministry of Foundation of Truth Assembly. So 412 is basically for working class singles, where we sit together, we rub minds together as Christian singles, where our standard, our base of living is the Word of God. Here we discuss contemporary issues, name it all, any issues that bothers around singles, about relationship, about work, just name it all. We discuss it here. It's also a platform where we network as singles, you know, and do other things. Let me not go there. So I just want to remind us that the platform is a very good one. I know that there are a lot of platforms out there that people go out, they mingle, a lot of like what's the name I'll use now, a lot of it's not organization, like society, a lot of groups, and what they do, they know what their vision is, but here clearly our vision is to have conversations and raise conversation that helps us live our life as Christian singles. So other platforms, they can be talking, they dish out their take on things, but our standard here when we even talk about things is the Bible. So 412 came as a result that we want a not just church form, but a way of a relaxed way where singles can sit down like this, discuss issue that has to do with them and enjoy themselves. So you are definitely welcome to 412 Hangouts. So usually we used to meet before COVID happened to us. We used to meet every Monday and we just chill, talk about issue, argue. People always have opinion, and then we agree. Well, COVID happened, so we moved it virtually. But recently, we've not been having consistent. I want to apologize on behalf of the East Coast. We've not been consistent monthly. A lot of things are going on, but we'll try and make it up this time around. So this, like almost 2 months now, we've not met. And today we'll be talking about, something that has to do with us, that is very, very important, that is very, very, the thing that we have to find a way to balance it. If not, we'll be having a very big issue. So today we're talking about work-life balance. So when people will always say work is also part of life, I agree. But the kind of work-life balance we're talking about today is personal life. There are people that, I understand that Nigeria is hard. I understand that, because people will tell you it's money that they will use to balance their life. Without money, they will not balance the life. But we're here to discuss the issue, share our experiences, and help, and also share how we can actually balance life. Because I know that some people, their work life is going well, but their personal life is like this. They don't have plan, they don't have a calendar for their own personal life to take care of themselves and everything. So today, that's what we're going to be discussing. I have my panelists. I'm going to introduce them later, but I also have Minister Pastor. I'll call him Pastor Kunle. Well, he is also a legal associate. I don't know I can't remember his organization. Sorry about that, but I know that he's a legal associate. You know, lawyers that are very, very busy. That are busy. I know I have to say he has to come and talk to us. They always have. Why I also want him to talk to us that he's also a pastor. So he's doing ministry and he's also working. So it's a lot of us are into that too. We're into ministry, one word, the other, serving God, and then we have life, we have work to do. We're always busy. So we needed somebody that can also help us, accept someone that have been there, teach us, share his experience, and help us manage our time and balance the life. So, but before he comes up to speak, I have wonderful 3 panelists that are going to be tearing down this issue, which I can also open the floor for kind of contributions from other people. But first, let me go with the lady. Her name is Faithful Duke. And Faithful is she's in the she's a finance executive and she's in the tech industry. Anyway, they're very busy. They're busy. It's tech now. I hope I'm not lying.
Yes, you're correct, John.
Tech, tech people, they're always busy. If you see them, they're serious people. Serious in an informal way. Because if you see a tech guy, sometimes they don't dress that your corporates or people into tech, they don't need to dress and tie also. But those guys are busy and all that. So Faithful, good to have you. You're welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So I have with me also Oluwafemi Festus, the workaholic, I call him. He's always busy. He has a lot of things that he's doing. Femi, I know Femi works with UBA, banker. They're always busy. They leave house very early in the morning and they come back by 9, 10. And you wonder how these guys, how do they plan their life? Do they even have time to rest, chill with friends and all that? Femi is just smiling, but I'm just calling your name. So you're going to introduce yourself later. Thank you, Femi, you are welcome. Then I have finally Benga. Benga himself, it's funny enough, I have finance people on the panel list today. So it's also good. People that touch money, that make a lot of money, that I have them today. So I know that Benga works with an insurance company. I think I'm trying to remember the name, I'm sorry. So welcome, Benga.
Custodian.
So first, custodian, thank you very much. Thank you very much. So straight up to the conversation so that I will not bore you guys with my talk. Let's talk, guys. I want you to share your experience now. Let's talk. How has been work and your personal life over the years of your career? How have you been managing it? So let's talk. Who is going first? Okay, let me start with Femi. Femi, are you on?
Yes.
All right, Femi. So you have the floor now.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Oluwafemi Festus, and like as Chiamaka rightly said, I work with UBA, Africa's Global Bank, as a complaint analysis and resolution expert. So my typical day, wake up 6 a.m., out of home, and no traffic. I'm back by 7, sometime 8, sometime 9, sometime 10 p.m. And I've been to work today, but I got back around 6:25 p.m. So it's not like I don't have time for rest and other activities. I do, but when it comes to work, I give it my all, my best. Thank you.
Femi, you're telling me give it your best. You, I know. Let me not tackle you now. Let me just hear Benga because I want to ask you a question. When last did you go out? Like no work, one weekend like this, you have a time for yourself. You probably try to meditate, do your exercise, probably for people that do yoga, people that go to the gym, had time and sit down, or even your family decide I want to go and see my mom today, the whole day I want to spend time with my mom. I will ask you, when last have you done that? Femi, I'm still asking you though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's when I'm on leave, but if I'm not on leave, my last leave was actually last month during my birthday. So I had time go visit mom, visit a few family, and just spend a day or two at some eateries. It's quite expensive. When I was on leave, the leave allowance could not cut it. It's part of the reason why we don't go out often, because it's expensive actually going out. And if you are going out with someone,
Don't come to manifest. Wait now. Wait. Hold on. Femi, I know that you're trying to just cover up that you're not a workaholic. I know. Thank you, because I know you personally. It's fine. So I don't think Harry dropped a message on the chat. He said, I can't even remember when last time I went out to her. You see what I'm saying? Work-life balance. 50%, 70% of us don't have that work-life balance that we're talking about. But let's move. Thank you, Femi. I'll come back to you. So Benga, what's your typical week like in this Lagos? What's your typical week like?
Yeah, good evening, everybody. My name is Benga Ogoswa.
Hello, Benga. Oh, I think his network is bad. It's like, okay.
I hope you can hear me.
It went off a bit. So
okay. I said it has been a journey and there has been changes. So there was a time I was doing shift job. So my shifts were off. I was working Saturdays, I was working Sundays, I was doing the night shift. So I had, even though I had time then, you understand? Even though I had time then, I found myself always thinking about work. But now, I would say like 2-3 years ago, I would go to work on a Saturday, be thinking about work on a Sunday, at church most of the day on Sunday. But I try to make it very, very intentional now. So I think I'm in a better place now.
Okay, you're in a better place. So I'll come back to you. I'll come back I'll actually like you to share the experience of that those days that you work, but don't even have time for yourself. What was it like for you? So Faithful, I'm coming to you now. So what's your week like? What was your week like? Considering, I also want you to share your experience. I know that some of us are agreeing now that we've been trying to find way to balance work. So what have been your experience? First, what is your week like? A typical Faithful week, Monday to Sunday. Faithful.
Okay, to be honest, yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, there.
Okay. I said, to be honest, my week is not something I look forward to because when Femi said there was no traffic, I was wondering, okay, what part of Lagos does it go to? So for me, Monday, you wake up by 5 a.m., you leave your house 6 a.m., you have to be at work, then you leave 5 p.m. or even 6 p.m. sometimes, and it takes me about 2 to 3 hours to leave my work and come back home, and by that time you're exhausted completely. So for me, I think Lagos is even enough stress on its own, then coupled with work, and you have challenges on the road when you're coming back, all the old drama, to be honest. So it's something the process basically, something I don't look forward to. It has nothing to do with my job function, actually, but before where I am, I've had like real experiences with work, like when you finish working and it's like you literally want to collapse. So because of the kind of job that I do, I'm a financial accountant, and where I was working before, our peak period is usually at month ends, right? Month ends where you have to submit reports, you have deadlines and all of that, and it has to be done as a when due. So by the time you are done working, it's as if you don't have any life in you. I've had a couple of experiences where I have to go to work weekends. Then I used to attend classes. I would finish my class by 7 p.m. I would go to work by 7 p.m. I would still work till like 10 p.m., 11 p.m. Then my mom will call me and be like, what kind of job is this that she doesn't understand? Do you get? COVID was even the peak of it.
Can be scary.
Yeah, it can. And you don't have time for family, you don't have time for friends. We are young singles, we need to mingle, you know. Also, COVID was also, we had peak periods in COVID as well. So because of the COVID pandemic, my team was small and the business was expanding. There were times I had to sit down morning till night. Like I'll be in one place morning till night working. You're not moving. You're going to eat your breakfast today, you're going to eat your lunch there. There are times that I had to wake up middle of the night, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., just to work so that I can meet deadlines. So, you know, that's been the experience I've had. For now, yeah, it's way better because I've chosen a better path. Let me put it that way.
Okay. Thank you very much. I like the fact that we're being real. I know a lot of us can attest to this. Sometimes we get myself, I'm giving myself as an example. You work Monday to Friday, Saturday to Sunday, you're in church. For people like also, my office, we don't work on Saturdays. There's nothing, but sometimes there are people that they send mail to, but me, I don't used to open my email not to see any work to do. Well, sometimes you can get so engrossed with work that you start losing you inside that work. People will see you and be like, my neighbor will see me. I've not seen you for long. Or you leave very early in the morning, you come back at night. You don't even have time for your personal self. So, and you are working and working and working and working and working till you break down. You see, I remember they tweeted a story about a guy that came to the office and he was saying he was not feeling well. He came late and the boss was actually shouting. I think the next day or that same day, the guy collapsed and that was how that guy died. Anyway, guys, let me just chip this in before we go further in the conversation. There have been a lot of young people collapsing and dying. I'm not saying it to make us fear, but seriously, we need to take care of ourselves. If you have not been checking your BP, you are saying you are young to have BP. Young people are now having BP. That's including a lot of people. Is alarming if you have been following trends. They're saying especially young men, they're slumping and they're dying and all that. So we need to just take care of ourselves. If you know that your work is too much, that you work all the time and you overstress, please try and take time to visit the doctor or even check your BP. That brings me to the next thing I want us to talk about. So guys, how do you balance work and life? But your personal life, time you used to hang out, time you spent with family, time you spent with yourself, like relaxing, thinking, strategizing. How do you balance that? I know that when we're talking about this on the group and people are saying, Nigeria is hard. Oh, how would you want to be enjoying when you have not made money? Especially we young people that are, if you have not gotten to the mid-management level, let me start from that. There's so much you are trying to do. You are trying to run a course. And I was trying to take a course. My dear, that course I did suffered because I did not finish it. Because no time. I will do this one in the morning because the other one was online and the time zone was different. And once I'm closing my former work, I'm starting the next one by 5, 6, and I'll be there till 11, 12. And then I'll sleep. No time for myself, and it affected the record. So I want us to talk about this. For Femi, I know that you said you've tried to. So Wenga, I want to hear you now. Again, just try. Festus, is not just me. I'm just sharing my experience. But let's talk about this. How have you been able to balance your what's it called, your work-life balance? How have you been able to balance your personal life and your work? So Benga, I'm starting with you.
Okay. Thank you, Chiamaka. So to be honest, I don't know if my life is my work-life balance is balanced or how balanced I can claim it
Has
is.
it been?
Or yes, I really can't say, but I'm just trying my best. I would say right now I try to be very, very conscious. What I do now is I try to go slow to go fast because yes, I'll take that again. I try to go slow to go fast because like when I wake up on a normal day, it's like the day is already rushing you. You are like behind. Sometimes you wake up 5, 6, and you're thinking, am I not late like this? Can I do everything I want to do? You feel like you're already behind, like, you understand? So, but what I just try to do is, as I said earlier, I try to go slow to go fast. I just try and take my time. Sometimes I tell myself, heaven will not fall. I survived yesterday. I'll survive. I'll survive today. I'll survive tomorrow. So, and another thing is,
of course,
another thing I do is, I'm very, like nowadays, I try to be very, very conscious about it. I've tried to implement some routines into my life. I've tried to schedule some things like, okay, for me, like I think I have an outlet now. The outlet being, maybe should I say fitness. So like Saturday mornings, no matter what, 7 a.m. Fortunately for me, National Stadium is not too far from me. So 7 a.m. I'm like in the stadium, even if it's just 1 hour. And then what that does for me is that most of the time I come back very, very tired. So I'm going to sleep. You understand? Like it induces sleep on me. And then the other things, every once in a while, I plan, okay, once a month or twice a month, I'll go out. Worst case scenario, I'll take myself out. Worst case scenario, but I might be able to do that. I might not be able to because maybe something else would come up or other obligations would come up. So I wouldn't say I'm completely balanced.
yeah, you're working towards that.
I'm working towards that. I would say like a lot of people still, just as you mentioned, a lot of people don't see me nowadays. Like, or when you come back home, they're like, he's here. Did you travel? I'm like, no, I've been around. I just probably left too early and came too late for them to see me, but I'm still very much around. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I know one of the things you said is being conscious. If you're not conscious about it, definitely, I don't think you're going to get that to happen, like balancing that your work and your personal life. So I'm coming to you, Faithful. Faithful, I'm coming to you now. So I know that one of the things people do, Nigerian organization, is that when they say people are going on leave, one is two things. People are going on leave, they'll still be engaging them at work. Send this mail reply, and somebody is saying is on leave. And why leave is for people, you have 365 days, and you pick 1 month in 365 days for yourself to even rest. But you find out that people still work. I know from some parties, just the organization, especially when you are in a key department that is very important and you have to do this, and you are hearing that somebody is on leave but they're working. And secondly, people also, I find out that people also, when you tell them to take leave, they're taking leave for a particular event they want to attend. They're not taking that leave to go even go and rest, but they use it also to do another thing. So Faith, I want you to talk about that. How do you think people can balance life and also share your experience? I don't know whether your organization, when they tell you to take leave, they used to disturb you with work. Please reply this mail. And you're on leave. Faithful, you have the floor now.
Okay, thank you, Chiamaka. So, okay, speaking about the leave, there's something my organization did of recent. So they started this month, whereby when you go on leave, you're completely shut out of any work tool. That includes your mails, your Teams, and every other work tool. So when people try to reach you, you can't help them, basically. You can't help them to do anything, and they would have to probably refer to a team member to, do the work. And one thing I've seen, that people that come back from leave this month, they had refreshing time. You could see it on their face. You could see how excited they were, and they were like, okay, it was so refreshing for them. And he also does something for the company as well. He helps the company to have some sort of a backup. You don't have one man, manning an entire team. So there's a backup to, to carry on the business, even when that person is not there. And you also have, proper documentation, because the team would have proper documentation so that someone in the team can have access to it and attend to, other people's needs since the other person is not there. So that's one thing my company did. Another thing I would also say that companies can do, and my company has started, doing things like that. Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
I think Chiamaka is having network issues, but you can continue.
Okay, so another thing that they started to do is also to add additional leave days. Like Chiamaka mentioned, you have people that take their leave for something else. Probably they want to write exam and so many other things. You can add additional days. So there could be extra days apart from your annual, leave days. There could be extra days like sick leave, extra days like compassionate leave. I know my company has what they call compassionate leave. Maybe you want to go and have your wedding, or you have a ceremony you need to go and do. You can have your compassionate leave and you can do that. Do you understand? So companies can also do that. It just shows that the company has the well-being of the staff at hand, and it helps to also build trust for that company as well. So yeah, that's it. And also to add to when Chiamaka asked the question of how do we make sure that we have a balanced life, to be honest, I don't think everybody has it all figured out how to have a balanced life. But for me, it's the major thing.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead, Chiamaka. Okay, so I'll just add into what you said about having a balanced life. I finished speaking about what my company or what companies can do to have, the leave, also with giving extra leave days as well. Do you get? So I was also adding that there are also other things we can do to have a balanced work life. Like for me, it's prioritizing my work, right? Prioritize my work from the beginning of the day. Okay, this is what I have to do. This is the top on my list and all of that. So that's also an addition to what Benga said about balancing your work life. Hi, Chiamaka, are you there?
I don't think Chiamaka is with us. So why that is ongoing, let me just take charge why that is ongoing. Thank you, Faithful, for sharing your views with us. So Femi, I think you are up next. How have you been able to balance life? I know you are a banker, you work a lot with customers, they get you angry. I know sometimes you have people that really get pissed at work, and when you're back home, some people call you again, you should do this, you should do that. And I know you to be very, 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 very hardworking. You multitask a lot. We've worked together and I know that about you. So how have you been able to balance your relationship with people, your relationship with your family? Have you been able to have that time? And relationship with, your work, have you been able to balance it? Can you just share your views with us?
Okay, thank you so much, John. It's, when Faithful was talking about our company putting in measure that when you're on leave, you shut down, it's good. But where I work, it can't work because those close to you, they are aware that you're on leave and they won't disturb you. But there are some people that will just choose to ignore your out of office notification and still call your phone if you're not responding to mails. So you are always engaged. So for me, the way I create a balance is I do things intentionally, and I believe more in quality time than quantity time. So what do I mean? If I have just 4 hours out of 24 hours to spend with myself, assuming I work from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., I sleep for 6 hours. So that 4 hours, I always turn off my phone. I avoid social media. So I do my meditation. I have my notebook. I have my pen. I do what I need to do. So it's all about sacrifice for me. So the reason why most people complain about work-life balance is distraction. So I avoid distraction. Like if I want to do something, I will do it. That's where I'll put all my attention. I believe that is the way I create a balance for myself. So when I'm at work too, I don't socialize when I'm at work. By using the word socialize, not like I don't engage with people, but I face work squarely. It's all business, no no time to play. It's all focus on the business. So that's the way I create time. And when I'm off work, I shut down and focus on what I'm expected to do. So that's the way I create a work like it's not as balanced as expected, because I still get that comment, you're a workaholic, you're this. But when I'm off work, I'm off work. Thank you.
All right, Femi, thank you. One of the things that I just picked out, sorry guys, I was going off and on and my network has been terrible today. So I know that one of the things you said is the ability to maximize your time. I know that some of us, you get to work. Why some people even overwork at times, you get to work and you have something to do, but you are quickly going to Instagram. Let me check this one. I heard one story on Instablog. Let me check for some organizations that allow you to. And then you now go and check from there. You now stay 30 minutes on Instagram. The work is going. When it's not time, it's 5 o'clock and I have deadline. I've not finished this. You're trying to finish it. Or sometimes you don't meet up a deadline. The work, you have to do it over the weekend. So it's also very important that we maximize our time in everything. Also try to create schedule, but I don't want us to dive into how we're going to, because some of us have not yet balanced that life at all. At all. Me, I'm struggling. I was having a conversation with a very close friend of mine, saying, this period, this September, we must do timetable on how to go out, because I find out that my social life is really going down. You barely don't get, except one, even the wedding, you go on wedding because they had to force you. Like intentionally telling yourself that today, on Thursday, on 3rd week of September, every Friday, I will go out alone. I'll go and see a movie with my friend. I'll go for, what's it called? I can go for a walk. I can go for this one, just a personal time to also relax. So I'll be calling on before I call on our pastor that will be addressing us today. Like I said, he has a very enough experience to even talk about the situation we're in. I think he's a legal associate and he's also a pastor, I know, and he has other things. So I know that he'll be in the best position to share his thoughts on this particular thing we're talking. But I want to just give 2 people from the floor here to just share the experience. If you had experience that there were a time that you were trying to get up to this career, whether it's a relationship that suffered, whether it's your career that suffered, or anyone, or your family, because get to the point that you don't even have time for yourself. You don't even have time for your family. Your family might be complaining, you won't be for 3 months I've not seen you and we're in the same Lagos. So I want to throw the floor open, just 2 minutes per person. Anybody that wants to share his experience on work-life balance, their thoughts on that. Anybody?
I think there are
Hey guys,
people shared a message on the group chat. Lawrence shared message. I can't find it now. And
okay.
Did you see Lawrence's message? Then,
okay, let me just read that out.
Okay.
Let me say that I think we should take it serious, as most of times during interviews, employers want you to see you have a personal life. Even the employers that are asking you to see whether you have a personal life, it's just for asking sake. Some employers know how to go overboard. Like, they will just treat me, you'll be working, just help and do this. Can you come on Saturday? Let's finish this. I know that they will ask you about your personal life, actually. That's why they ask you what you do outside work. If you don't have time for yourself, they efficiently. I know this is very important. Outside Nigeria, I know a couple of countries that they take even the way they design their workspace, they make it in a relaxing way. I know people that do that a lot is all these fintech companies and tech companies are coming up. If you enter a workplace, you will not know there is a workplace there. The way they arrange it, not just normal sit and table, so many things, they even have games. So, because if your mind is not settled, I don't think you bring productivity to the work you're doing. So it's very, very important. So I want to, if you want to talk, please raise your hand. I just have like, let me say 4 minutes to round up before I welcome our speaker for today. to be honest, work-life balance, this is coming from Lawrence Okar. He said, to be honest, work-life balance can be equally achieved, but there are principles I have in me that help me over time. Every day of life, I remind myself that my personal life comes first before anything. I love this. Before anything, your personal life comes first. Once I exhaust 8 hours work per day, I don't go beyond that, except in tight situation, which will come at a cost. Wow, I like that. Annual leave should be exhausted by all means. Any other leave like paternity leave should be used. For me, I've made it obvious to my manager that I will not attend to any work-related queries. Lastly, to my work-related queries. And lastly, we should create time for vacation because it helps to clear our mind and build soul up. I love what Lawrence shared. I think also most of us is also to be bold enough to even share it to our employees. Like, you'll be like, I don't want to lose this job. You can't even meet your manager to even share that. You're down. People will be coming to work and they overstress and they overuse. Trust me, some organization can overuse people. And when they use you, you'll be working and working and working, and you will not have time for yourself. I know of my friend that had to resign in a bank job from a bank. She was working as a customer support person, but because she barely did not have time for herself, she does not attend church again because of work. So one of the things I do personally, what I prayed is to get a job that will not take my weekend away. Any job that can take my Saturday and Sunday is not a job for me. I always pray for that. So, okay, let me hear Lawrence. Lawrence, I've already read what you said, but I would like to hear
Lawrence and Dami.
Lawrence and Dami. I've seen after Lawrence, Dami, you go. So, welcome as speaker for today.
All right. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Lawrence. Thank you.
Yeah.
Can you introduce yourself, please?
Okay. I'm Lawrence. I'm an accountant. I'm based in Dublin. So I'm hearing everything, like the topic, and this is very, very interesting. So when I want to just say some couple of things regarding like some of my friends that work within Lagos. The traffic alone is something that we don't have control over. Do you get? So that alone constitutes its own stress on its own. There is no doubt. And then with the employees, we should make it as a point of duty that if anything happens to us, the next day, the manager or whatever will replace you. I'll give you an example. In Amazon pays people, like if Amazon decided to employ you today and you decide to do anything shady, they are ready to throw you out within 30 seconds and bring someone. That means that they are paying some people already in the pool. So they don't care about you, they just care about themselves. So you as an employee should make it as a point of duty that you should take care of yourself first before any other thing. I'm not saying you should not do your work, you should prioritize your work, do your best. But you see, when it comes to leave, don't joke with it. Once you know when your leave is, take your leave off your system, close everything, inform your manager that you don't want anything. Do you understand? Because most of these managers, when they're on leave, nobody messages them. They will tell you. So we, the employees, like we, the people under them, we should as well tell them the same thing that, oh, we don't want this, we don't want that. And they're going to respect you for that. But the moment we start trying to please our managers, maybe we're on leave and we still have to put on our laptop, they will be fine with it. But at the end of the day, you are just pleasing them to displease yourself. Do you understand? So what I'm just suggesting is, do your job the way you can, do the normal hour that you're supposed to do, then rest, because if anything happens to you, nobody cares. The company has to move on. And you still need your family to take care of. So that's just something I need to tell some of my friends that are here.
Okay, thank you so much, Lawrence. Thank you very much. That was a great thought that you just shared with us. And Dami, pick one. You have the floor now. So if you have question for our speaker today, you can drop it on the group. I think or Yemi have dropped his. So Dami, can we hear you?
All right, thank you guys for having me. My name is Dami. I'm a cybersecurity analyst. I I saw this poster on Pastor Kunle Soyibo's just like 2 hours ago. Yeah, thank you for having for organizing this. Yeah, he happens to be my friend in the Methodist Church. Yeah, so what I would say for the guys doing kind of remote jobs, another thing is to actually stretch your legs. Go for exercises because most of the time you see it's like all day, like it's so bad because you not doing all of that makes your body stiff, and without, before you know it, you won't even be able to detect anything that's actually happening in your body. You can as well slump, all of that. So that's what I actually want to chip in here.
Okay, thank you so much. Guys, you've heard it all, especially those of us that sit to the system. I have to get this class, and it's not recommended, but it helps me a lot because you sit in and looking at the system from 9 o'clock till 5 o'clock. It's also important that I do it. So I noticed that if I have water in my water jug and I leave it on the table, I start taking that water, I might not be able to stand up. But what I do is that I stop filling that jug. I start going to the kitchen we have in my office to get water myself. So it will enable me to actually stand up and move my legs, because sometimes you see that your back is spinning. It's also work-life balance. I'm talking about that. So like Lawrence shared, is important. I think these things come from us also being able to be good negotiator. If you're good at your work, I find out that if you're good at your work, you can actually negotiate some things. And especially when you are coming, you let them know that this is how I work. This is how it's supposed to be, when you're supposed to close and when you're supposed. Some people, they will start office and sit their time and work. They go home late. They come the next day. The cycle keep continuing, and no rest, no time for themselves. So Faithful, quick one before we go. We already out of time.
Okay, just to add to what Dami said, I just wanted to chip in a scenario, a case of my sister shared a story of a colleague of ours that is currently having a spine issue just because of sitting down for years. The person sits down, just the posture the person sits in walking. And I also have a boss that is currently on a neck collar for same reason, just this posture of sitting and walking. So you have to do exercises and also make use of your HMO. If you have an HMO, make use of it, do full annual body checkup, go on spa if they do have gym. Please make use of it, and it just helps your healthy living as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys for your thoughts and your ideas you've shared.
I think we lost Chiamaka again. But the next thing is to bring Pastor Kunle on. Pastor Kunle, okay, Chiamaka, are you back?
Yeah. Yes, sorry. My internet is messing me up today. NTM, please leave my life alone now. Abba, I'm trying to people.
MTN network has been terrible. I will tell you that.
I don't know what I've done.
And they used to be the best. All right.
I was even thinking I would have used my Wi-Fi. All right, people, let's go straight to the conversation. I want to welcome Pastor Kunle. I'm sorry, for those of you, he's my pastor and he's also a legal associate. So, Pastor Kunle, are you on the call?
Yes, I'm on the call. Can you allow me to share my screen?
Definitely. John, please help out with that. Thank you, Pastor Kunle. Yes, sir, please. I know that this is my fault now. I take the blame. I have no excuse for what I'm doing now. I actually forgot my book where I wrote things down, and I forgot the name of your organization. I'm so sorry. So, but I would love you to help us. Can you share your screen now?
Okay, yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Okay.
Thank you.
Please, so that we'll introduce, please introduce yourself. I know that he's one of our leading pastor in our church, which is the church under which this platform came from, Foundation of Truth Assembly. So, Pastor Kunle, you're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Just 1 second. I'm just trying to share my screen quickly.
Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for having me.
Thank you,
All
sir.
want to hang out. Can you all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we can.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Initially, I was wondering whether I was fit enough to take this this session, right? Because I also do, I work in a professional service firm, and it's a very, most professional service firms are very intense environments. So I'm a lawyer, work in a law firm, right? And so as a background, so I'm a partner in a law firm. I head our corporate M&A practice. When I say M&A, I'm talking about mergers and acquisitions. So, so I'm a transactional lawyer. So what we do is we help clients to close on mergers and acquisitions, private equity investments, right? And when these investors come in, they are usually very intense, go through due diligence, go through documentation, you are negotiating documents, and they're usually intense periods. Some of these transactions are public transactions, right? They're some of the things you see on the newspapers. You have strict timelines, you can't fill on those timelines. And it just sort of like, it can at times, affect your balance work-wise, right? So I was thinking maybe I wasn't the best person to talk around it, right? But I haven't heard people on this call. I say that we're in the same group, right? So it's a pleasure to be here and to discuss around this topic. So, so the first question I would like to ask is to say, how did we get here, right? In terms of how today is as if many people struggle with work-life balance. So how did we get here? I think how we got here first is around our quest for success, right? And happiness. So we want to be successful. We want the happily ever after like kind of life, right? And this sort of like drives us, to work, and to achieve. But what we find out at times is that, as we're driving ourselves, we realize that at times we lose the happiness we're trying to get, right? So you now realize that ultimately finding balance in life is even more important than trying to drive yourself towards success. So if you also look at it again, one of the things I've realized, in my little experience in life is that success, is birthed in the right environment, right? So you need the right environment. Many times we think as if what we need is that drive, that zeal, that passion to achieve, to be successful. But you realize that success actually really happens in the right atmosphere, right? Everything has to be right for success to germinate and to come out. So you need social capital, right? Many times people prioritize financial capital above social capital. At times, what gives you financial capital is your social capital. So you need social capital, you need financial capital. And I also add that you need spiritual capital, right? You realize today that at times, some people don't work as much, but they are blessed, right? It's because probably there's a spiritual factor in their life that has allowed them to be blessed, and they remain blessed all of their lives. So our drive for success, right, at times takes us to a place whereby we lose our happiness, right? And when we lose our happiness, we are not as effective again. We become less productive, right? We become unhappy, right? And it's very critical that we're always able to find that work-life balance, as young professionals, in our endeavors. So I'm just going to run through some things that I've put on this slide. I'll try and finish up in about 20 minutes. So we'll have questions for 10 minutes, then we can close. So I forgot to mention what Chiamaka said. So I work at Jackson Etianedu. So Jackson Etianedu is a leading commercial law firm based here in Lagos, right? We have offices in Lagos, Abuja, then we have associate offices in Ghana, Yaoundé, as well as in Zimbabwe, Harare, Zimbabwe, right? So, so it's a commercial law firm, about 60 lawyers, right? Even though, in today's world, Nigeria, people are leaving, right? So I mean, recently we lost probably close to about 20 people in the office, right? But definitely we're replacing people, but an exciting place to work, right? And it's been also a rewarding place to work. So if I look at my slide here, right? So I was talking about how we got here, initially. Sorry. So initially I was talking about how did we get here, and if we look at what makes us, lose our peace, our life, our joy, out of balance that we should have achieved, we realize that I involve about 4 things. So the first one is that if you look at in recent times, right, or over the years, we're trying to live in a productivity-driven world, right? So finding that work-life balance, has become a challenge for every single person, right? And if you see other things within that mix, because we have that productivity-driven world, right, you see a quest whereby everybody's moving towards cities, not only in Nigeria, but globally, right? So globally, we see people building more and more cities, more and more cities springing up across the globe, right? Even those cities that are already well established are also expanding, right? And there are new cities moving out. Why? Because people are saying out of the drive for productivity, they have realized that the city life affords you, better life, better sound of life and things like that. So people move into the cities. But we don't realize that the more people move into cities, the more, we all get entrapped, in what we call the rat race and the hectic and busy schedules that are in cities. So you have traffic, you have long hours, and you have all those kind of things that are packaged with it, right? Also in that same mix, you see people who are in cities, right, and who have quest for productivity. They also have this quest for profit and gain. So people are looking for pay raises, they're looking for bonuses, we're looking for, we're chasing corporate targets, profit sharing, and things like that. So the more we chase these things, there are attendant stress that comes along with it, right? And many times we realize that we also become overworked trying to achieve some of these things. So at times we fail, right? At times to achieve those things, and it all affects, our total well-being and health, so to speak. Then in more recent times, we've seen, particularly after COVID, because I read a research report that spoke about the fact that half of workers generally, reported that they probably were overworked during the COVID period. So COVID brought about a change, right? People were overworked, right? Then it brought about also the move towards technology, right? So with technology, we realized that our personal lives were being invaded, all the more because we're working from home, even our home space and personal space now became workspaces, right? So that also had its own side effects in terms of mental health for people, and things like that. And also, if you look at our world today, whereby we have social media, you have work tools that are technology driven, like Slack, like your Teams, you chat, you have WhatsApp. You realize that those things are just invading, our personal lives and our home lives in such a way that it now becomes, difficult for us to have that balanced life, even in our own private spaces, right? So all these things have come in a way to complicate the work life of people, right? So if you look at it, I have on this slide, what's the problem, right? And that of the problem, if you look at the circles I have there, if I call maybe circles of life, you have the home and the family, you have the health and well-being, you have your career, and you have community, right? Amongst these 4 things, really, is where we find that, work-life balance, so to speak. Many times for us as people, we tend to prioritize career, right, over every other thing. So that when we're not careful, we now miss out of our own health and well-being, family, and community, right? And like I said earlier, you need social capital, financial capital, spiritual capital, right? When these things are not really complete, you realize that you're not completely whole, happy, and the way you should be. In the mix of all these things, what surrounds it completely is, the spiritual capital around it. That spiritual well-being, holds this entire 4 circles together. So we always have to find a way of balancing between these 3 things. So if you look at a home is where you find love and care, right? The community is where you find a sense of belonging. Your career is where you find a sense of fulfillment. Then your health is where you find, physical strength, and emotional strength, to carry you through all these things. Because when our bodies are not in the right shape, we realize that we can achieve career, we can achieve family, and we can achieve community. But when we prioritize, the two that I've seen that people prioritize, above every other thing is career and home, right? At times, home can be a source of stress, particularly for when people have families, right? Career can be a source of stress. So these days, what happens is that people are becoming more career focused, that they even forget about marriage, about different kind, about their families, so they're just about making money. And at times, people just feel like once they provide money, that's the end of life, which is not completely true. Then at times in families, it can be a source of stress. There are people, if you find out that your experience is that, a lot of people in your family depends on you, right? If you're not careful, you can become, overwhelmed, burn out, because everybody in the family sort of leans on you to achieve, right? At some point, you have to just let go, right? Some people have to rise from your families and take responsibility. But the more you continue to listen to them and yield to their cravings, you realize that you become trapped, in their desires and their cravings. So we always have to find balance, in everything. So there has to be health and well-being, career, home and family, and community. So finding all of that can be a difficult thing. So, and when there's no balance, so that we have stress, right? Then once we have stress, they now have these functional outcomes. So ultimately, the productivity you're trying to drive out now becomes low. You have strained social relationships. You have inefficiency at work, right? Then you now have poor physical, emotional, and mental health. Now we've come to realize that those things are very critical in life. Let me give you an example of what my own experience was when I started work. At some point when I started work, I was just overworked. And there's some people they call donkeys, right? Donkeys are people who just load all the work on, right? And just expect to get the work done. And over time, I realized that, it was affecting my health. I was always going to, at that time, I went to the hospital to treat myself for malaria every month, at least once a month. And that wasn't even healthy, right? For doctors will let you know that if you're taking those malaria drugs, you're actually, impacting your liver, not some other vital organs. So those things are not healthy when you begin to go to the hospital all the time. Those are things that we should also watch for. Realize that you're taking too much drugs, overloading your system with drugs. You're not helping your health and well-being, right? You have to find other ways around it to ensure that you avoid taking too much drugs, regularly. So I was going to the hospital every month, right? And after some time, it became like, I became depressed till I became suicidal. It was so bad that, one day I didn't go to work. I shut down all my phones, and I was bent on ensuring that I take my own life. So I looked at different options. Jump from third mainland into the lagoon, right? Walk into the lagoon through Unilag, right? Go to my parents' home, pick a rifle and shoot myself. And I was planning and considering it throughout that same day, right? Only God that helped me out, right? And this made some things dawn on me that, when you take in too much, after sometimes it gets at you, eats you up, right? And you begin to feel useless to yourself. So we always have to find that balance in our lives, because nobody should ever think that it can happen to them. When you see people who have become suicidal, right? It's not as if they are strange or they were not thinking right. At times, it's all this stress put together that causes people to become suicidal. But on that day, I walked from Unilag Gate to the lagoon, Unilag. I didn't realize when I got there. It was like 5 minutes to me, right? Because I was already overwhelmed and depressed. So we always have to find that balance in our lives. Now, just to talk around some concepts, people started talking about, moving from work-life balance to work-life integration. When you say work-life balance, it's like if you're having 2 types of lives, right? And if you've ever felt like you are living 2 separate lives, one is work, one is your real life, then you're not alone, right? But that's why people are trying to move away from work-life balance, because really people feel that the way we should view work is that work is actually a part of life, right? If it's a part of life, then we have to find a way of balancing it with other things. But when people see it as 2 different, separate, parallel lives, work is one, life is one, then again, people now get confused, stressed as to how to manage, and pull ourselves through that entire process. So people have been talking about, work-life integration, we should incorporate work into life, right? Because life is a bigger picture, right? While work is just a part of life. Family is one, like we discussed, community is one, career is one. So we have to always put all those things in line, and we're able to balance it aright. So when we talk about work-life integration, is like, or I also talk about work-life balance here. We can use it interchangeably. So if you say work-life balance, work-life integration, is about blending your personal and professional objectives and finding areas of compromise. So you have to find a balance between life and professional objectives, or work, and personal and family objectives. There has to be a balance between all of that, because life is much more than work, right? There are other people who are stakeholders in our lives, and the other issues that are stakeholders in their life, and we have to find a way of balancing it. A situation whereby, like I think it was Lawrence who mentioned in his chat, people when you go to interviews, when I do interviews in my office, we ask people about, whether they know what's trending at some point, want to know what they do during their spare time. You don't want to employ people who are just, who are just nerds alone, right? Want people who can also be interested in life. So when you work in an environment that is pushing you towards being, a one-way traffic life person, right? It's actually not helping you personally. So like Lauren said, you also have to prioritize your personal life, because whoever you become by going that route, right, even your organization is not proud of it. So we have to find a way of finding that balance, amongst in our own selves. So how do we find this work-life balance? So the first thing is, from things we've discussed, we realize that it can't be perfect. You can't get a perfect scenario whereby everything is balanced. It's very difficult to do it. Then based on the situation we find ourselves in our professional chart and career, all of us will vary. Our ability to find a more perfect kind of balance, work-life integration or work-life balance, will differ, right? But you just have to realize that you may not get it perfect. So if you don't get it perfect, don't be worried, right? You just have to realize how you must, chart this thing out. One thing is that we should set priorities, right? Simcoe said that the key is not to prioritize what's on your schedule, or schedule your priorities. So things that are important to you as an individual, you have to prioritize it. You have to put them first. You have to put them first, right? And find a way to achieve it. And if in achieving it, you have to be very intentional. So I had someone put on the chat that he can't remember, or he or she can't remember the last time he or she went out, or just went out for a drink, to eat or do things like that. And at times when life gets busy, you don't even remember everything. Everything just happens so fast that you forget that you haven't even done some interesting things in quite a while, right? But I think finding a way to be intentional about it, to prioritize it, is also critical. So for example, who will say that money could be an issue in achieving that, right? But you can find a way, a situation whereby you guys, want to find a regular time to hang out, right? And it doesn't have to be very costly, right? Because when you hang out with people, it's an interesting way of releasing tension and stress, right? So at times what you can do is, if you go out to a restaurant, some restaurants allow you to pick a platter, right? And a platter has just different kind of items or delicacies, to eat, right? So with that, it's cheaper. You may not have to get everybody a plate, or serve everybody, a meal, during that period. But when you go for a platter, everybody has a bite. You can spend more money on the drinks, yes, and you can watch how much money you guys spend. But then spend 10,000, you have 5, you contribute 2,000 in each. You guys won't feel it. What you will enjoy more in that setting is that it's not just the food. You're not yet to be full, right? But what you enjoy there is the fact that you're able to interact, you're able to unwind, and find interesting things to do around. Some of the things I do, myself and my wife, we do is that we try to find places to go and just eat, eat, relax, chat, and talk, right? And we've always done that over the period of time. We look for a new experience, a new thing to do. And at times we don't always spend much money. right? It's just the experience to be together, to enjoy yourself, and it's always worked to the extent that she today finds out more interesting places to eat and to hang out than myself. So at times I'm asking her, where's the next place to go? And she's telling me, we haven't been here, let's try and go here. It just helps you to unwind, right? And unwinding, generally has a way of just rejuvenating you generally. So after you've worked, right, you always need to replenish, you need to rejuvenate, right? If you don't rejuvenate, you burn out. Once you get to a point you are getting to burning out, and it shows that you have not been, rejuvenating yourself, or replenishing yourself. So we must always find a way to add more and replenish ourselves. And at times, to just replenish ourselves is just relax. And at times, maybe to go to movies, right? And at times, when you go to movies, there are some movies you go to that, or you can go at a time that the amount is cheap. If you don't go through, usually those cheap periods are like off peak, you understand? So maybe we'll say you're at work during those times, but then you can just find things to do, find once in a while, maybe it's expensive, once in a while, just go to movies and just relax, watch a new film. Once a new film is out, just go and experience with somebody, right? I just realized that when you go out with people, right, when you spend time with people, you just have a way of bringing something new back to you. And when I spend time with people, one thing I realized that I learned something new, right? And at times we stay at our work as if that is where life ends, particularly if you have a good job and you're enjoying the place. But you realize that there are people who are doing greater and better things, right? So it's good to see what other people are doing, learn from people, right? And anytime I spend time with people, I just realize that it's just something more interesting that I learned. I learned something new, I'm reinvigorated, and just so many things happen. So we always have to find a way to always invigorate ourselves. But like I have on this slide, you must always prioritize it. Another thing is playing to your strengths. When you're at work, play to your strengths, right? Look for how to delegate to other people, right? Don't always want to do everything. If you have a perfectionist tendencies, then you have to start looking at how to deal with some of those things. At times you need to delegate, at times you need to rely on people to get things done, right? But you must play to your strengths to ensure that you are not overworking yourself all the time. Then at times you need to schedule your personal time on your calendar, right? Like somebody says that after they spend some number of hours in the office, they just shut down and they go. And at times it's good. Not everybody will be able to have that opportunity to say, I shut down at a particular point in time. But it has to get to a point whereby you must say no, right? And shut down completely, right? So you have to find a way of putting personal time on your schedule, right? Personal time allows you to think, to replan, to strategize, and it gives you more hope and, a sense of direction in life. So you must find that personal time. Then schedule, people time as well. Look for people, and I think 412 should do that amongst yourself. Find time to, is that you're going to movies, you're going to play games, right? Because there are places you can play games in Lagos. There's a place, around Water Corporation Drive that's called Rufus and B, right? You can play games there, you can do bowl, you bowl, go to the bowling alley, and I think it's something that you guys can do together and have fun with. Go to the bowling alley, throw some balls, and you realize that you create competition, you understand, and you create fun, right? And you guys will just relax and you feel a lot good. You will have reinvigorated yourself during that period. So you can do games, you can do movies, you can do restaurants, you can go to the spa, right? With a friend. And if you're going to spa, preferably with a same gender friend, right? That's what works for that kind of thing. So all those things always just find a way to reinvigorate you, right? So it's important to prioritize it, schedule it on your time, and you're able to find, that you have better balance in terms of your work life. Another thing is to prioritize your physical and mental health, right? And this is very, very critical. I mentioned about taking too many drugs, yes, and you have to watch those kind of things. So, but in prioritizing your physical and mental health, you must sleep. Sleep is something that is critical. you must sleep well, right? Your diet, your exercise, and you have to be able to watch symptoms of things. And once your body is doing somehow, check it up in the clinic, right? At times when you check it up in the clinic, that you realize that there could be some other things that could be wrong. For example, there was one time my sister and her husband, they just went to register for an HM. They checked her husband's BP, and they realized that it was very high. They were like, how can you be carrying this kind of BP, right? If you are slumped, you just die. And in fact, on that day, they had to admit him to the hospital, and he was there for about 3 days or thereabout, so as to bring his BP down. One of the biggest killer diseases today is high blood pressure, right? And unfortunately, it's young people who are catching this high blood pressure because we are driving ourselves too much. We're not exercising, we're not sleeping well enough, we're not eating good food, we're just taking Coke and all these kind of things. You know, we have to find a way of eating healthy and eating well, sleeping well, exercising, and watching symptoms. Once your body is doing somehow, go to the hospital and check it up, right? You never can tell what could be wrong. You could be saving your life by going to the hospital to check it up. Most times people don't like to go to the hospital, but it helps you. If I don't feel well, I go to the hospital, I check myself just to see what is going on, and the like. And that's why these days a lot of young people dying, right, because of things that can be avoided, right? So it's important to prioritize your physical and your mental health. When you go to work and you are saturated, always find a time to even shut down at work. Particularly when you get saturated so quickly, right? Shut down, free your head, you know, just let things just find a calm path, you understand, and let things just subside in your mind, you understand. It helps you to reinvigorate yourself and rejuvenate yourself. You can always do, you know, and achieve more, right? But another critical thing is sleeping. We must learn to sleep. And this is, in fact, that many people have insomnia, inability to sleep. You must always be able to understand yourself, watch your sleep patterns, right? Particularly when you feel like. Can we mute?
Sorry, Cynthia, please, can you mute? Thank you. Sorry, sir, carry on. John, please mute Cynthia, please.
Yeah, so we have to find, you know, how to sleep, right? You must always sleep. You must always sleep. When you're younger, you may be able to wake up like, you know, much younger. I wake up most times at night to work. 3, 4, 5, you know, sometimes I start, I just sleep 3 hours and work at times. But as I grew older, as I cross 40, right, most times now I sleep. Try to sleep 5 to 6 hours every day. I try to sleep that. I might now wake up early, you understand, and work, right? If there's pressure to work. But now I realize that I have to sleep more. I have to sleep more. I have to sleep more. Even when I try to even push myself to wake up early. I realize that my body won't carry me, right? Once I realize that, I listen to my body, and at times, this is what I'm trying to make the point that you should also listen to your body. You realize that you are struggling. At times, some people will be walking, they will take coffee, right? I was a bad coffee drinker. I'm just changing now, right? Because I realized that it started affecting me health-wise. You know, take coffee, add Coke to it. You know, you can't sleep, just be pumping your body with caffeine and things like that. After sometimes your body will begin to reject those things, right? We have to even watch when you were younger, right? Because I say that our body is like a machine, right? So usually that machine has like a timeline. You know, in the days of the early times of the Bible, people could live up to 900 years. But because of the way we use our body now, if you do 70 years, you are lucky. If you do 80, 90, you are very blessed, right? So we shouldn't overwork our body when we are young, right? When you are young, work hard, drive yourself, but you must find rest. Just like God. God found rest on the 7th day. And in the Bible, God legislated rest. It was called the Sabbath, to remind us that we must always find a way to rest, right? So
okay, sir, sorry to cut you short. Sorry, it has been an interesting conversation, but I would like you just have 10 minutes to round up so we can take this.
I'm gonna round up now. So my slides are almost up. So take vacations, right? Take your vacations. I like to travel.
This vacation is important, so but it's money.
No, it's not money. I'm telling you, I'm going there. See, I'd like to travel, but I don't really travel out of the country. I also travel within Nigeria. So one of the things I've done is I've gone to Abeokuta for vacations, right? 3 days, right? I just spent I'd look for a good hotel, right? Preferably, you'll be surprised how nice Abeokuta is. They have an international brand hotel. They're called Parking by Radisson, right? It used to be called the Gateway Hotel. It's a nice hotel, right? I go for a room there to manage to stay maybe I can just stay 2 nights or 1 night. And there are different other hotels. You understand? It's expensive, just limit the number of time you spend. But there are a lot of exciting things around. The first time I went to the presidential library for Basanjo, I was wowed. I saw a museum that was international standard there. Many people don't know. Then in that same compound, there's a zoo there, right? There's so many, like an amusement park there. There's a cinema in that same place. There's a lake you can punt, go on a boat and drive, you can punt, right? So try and just do things you haven't done before. Go and swim, go, just do nice things, right? Go to different places, and there are different places you can go to in Nigeria. You can go to Abeokuta, like I mentioned, there are exciting things around. You can go to Abuja, right? There are nice things around, and there are different places. Just look for places. If you can go as far as like Obudu and things like that, you can do that within Nigeria alone. You understand? Just look for nice things to do. Take a vacation. You don't have to be 3 weeks, maybe 3 days, maybe 2 days, right? But during that your leave, you understand? Take 3 to 1 week off and have a nice time. You can go to Ekpe, you understand? There's some nice places, good hotels in Ekpe that you can stay and just enjoy yourself and just have a good time, right? But that thing helps you to shut down your system, right? And if you can go abroad, then do it, you understand? And if you're going abroad is once in 3 years, plan it into it, create an expectation for yourself and you enjoy it. If it's once a year, if it's once in 2 years, once in 3 years, plan it into it. And if the one that is local, do that in Nigeria, but take vacations, and finally, do not be afraid to unplug, right? At times, you just need to pull out of the entire madness around work. Pull out. Don't be afraid to unplug. And I think I'm almost done with my slides, right? I think most of what I've said and I have on this slide, I have discussed around it. So always find time to unplug, right? Sorry. So always find time to unplug, right? Plug out of the stress, right? What the things that stress you? It can be work, it can be family, it can be church, right? It can be your association. If all those things are giving you too much work that are choking you and you are becoming, and you're burning out, you can find time to unplug, rejuvenate, and come back. You'll be more useful to your people and your environment after you have unplugged and rejuvenated. Being burnt out, you're of no use to anybody. So we should always realize that finding that balance has to be intentional, right? And we can be creative around it. It doesn't have to be expensive. Find personal time, find time with people, right? And God bless us all. Thank you very much. Do you have any questions?
All right, thank you so much, sir. It's been a very interesting presentation that you've had there. Even though you were saying that you did not have the experience, but you talked something that is very, very important, and everybody is commenting on the group. We need to go for a vacation. I know one of the things the problem we have is that I don't know who we're having that conversation. I think Faithful, it was the conversation we had yesterday. And you say if you just step out of your house, 20,000 is gone. Like eating, if you want to go to a restaurant. I say let's just forget the what we see on Instagram and the trend that if you want to take yourself out, you must look for expensive, what is it called? Expensive hotel to go to. Look for expensive restaurant to go to and eat. Well, it's not necessarily you can take yourself out without having too much money in your pocket. I know, like you said now, the place you suggested for vacation is actually good. If you're intentional about it, you can save for 3 months and say, okay, in the 4th month, I'm saving money towards vacation like this. Go to your, if you have a piggy vest, you can save, lock it there. In 3 months, you can enjoy yourself. Thank you so much, sir. But I know that one of the things I picked from your presentation is prioritizing. Everything is important, but scheduling your priorities, because there's not, your life is important, your health is important, your work is also important, because if you don't have work, you might not be able to carry on with some things that you need to do to survive. Work is important, family is important, so everything is important, but then scheduling it is quite important. It's very, very key. So if you say from now till now I'm working, I'm going to do this. So I think, okay, on Wednesdays by 10:30, I need to talk to my mom, I need to speak with my mom, or I need to spend time with my family. So if you schedule it like this, it will help you a bit. We might not get that perfect balance in terms of our work life, but at least it will help you to touch each of the things that you need to touch. So that's interesting, sir. Thank you very much. So the first question, you can drop your question here, please. You can drop your question here. So the first question is, when we change jobs, what steps can we follow to adapt, as we already used to our former organization? New environment sort of messes up our work-life balance. Sorry, let me take that again. That question is from Yemi. When we change jobs, what steps can we follow to adapt, as we already used to our former organization and new environment? In terms of, I think this person is talking about probably, I know that some organization, their work, the way their work, I don't know how to put it, but I know that some of them, some organizations, the way they work is quite not good. It's very tedious. They work this time, so much to do. You personally don't have time. But there's some organizations that you go to, you find out that they work in a very, very relaxed environment, relaxed atmosphere. You will see that they have game house in the office. See that there are times they go out to discuss, have fun together. So I don't know whether it's from that angle the person is asking that question. They say, when you change jobs, what steps can you follow to adapt, as we already used to our former organization? So if you find yourself in a new environment, I'm also thinking the person is saying, what steps should I take to also not to get in that web of overworking myself? Thank you.
Yeah. So I think when you're going to a new place, right, you have to find a way of studying and understanding the place before you get there. It's always good. It helps you, right? And if you can't really understand it, you have to give yourself a transition period. So once you get to a new place, you have to prove yourself. You probably have maybe 3 to 6 months for confirmation. You want to be confirmed on time and things like that. So you have to give yourself a transition period, right? Maybe 3 months to understand the work environment and to quickly adjust to how that thing works. So, you have to plan it. You have to plan for a new work environment, because it's a new place. You have to impress. You understand? Don't give yourself too many expectations, right? But give yourself a short period to prove yourself, right? And adjust. 3 to 6 months to prove yourself and adjust. We're trying to find work. So at times, maybe that time you may cut down some other things, right? But you also know it's a short period of time. So particularly when that place is probably more intense from where you're coming from, right? Just find that 3 to 6 months period to quickly integrate and adjust, right? And after that, you can now come back to your normal life. But I think another thing I didn't mention, I wanted to mention was that I think this issue of work-life balance or work-life integration, we all have to start talking about it. All of us should start talking about it, because the more you talk about something, the more it comes to people's subconscious, right? And now becomes more acceptable, within the society. But if everybody is running after, we're trying to make money, you're trying to get this one done, you're just in the rat race, right? Everybody becomes in that rat race, nobody comes out, right? But we need to start speaking out, because what I see from organizations is that organizations also thrive on divide and rule, right? They divide employees amongst themselves. The organization wins, right? We all lose our balance, right? And we probably are not happy at the end of the day. So we need to start talking around work-life balance and creative and innovative ways for even the organizations to achieve it, right? Because that's a place whereby everybody will be happy. Because when you are more balanced, even the organizations has more benefit from it, because you are in a better frame of mind to deliver and help your organization. I think we lost Chiamaka again.
Yes, I think we lost Chiamaka. Okay, Dami, you have a question.
Okay.
Not really a question. I was just going to buttress what Pastor Kunle just said now.
Okay.
So if it happens to be in an environment that you think is actually taking a lot of your time, that's not giving you some sort of a work-life balance, I think it's high time you try to leave that job and go to another job. So I'll take myself, for example, I used to be a database administrator. So I work every weekend, like we used to have some sort of a on-call rotation. So why I found that I was actually taking my time, I needed to just get a new role in a new organization where they don't do on-call rotation. So, and that actually helped me. So you can try that as well.
Yeah, so that's a good point. You know, you can try leaving, right? But you also know that once you leave, you also have to find, okay, when you get to a new job, you have to try to understand the place, give yourself time to integrate, right? Just so that, you know, you can prove yourself and you can be happy, you know, when you change your job.
Okay, so I just wanted to ask you this question, but I know that we don't have much time, but we just have to extend it more with 10 minutes, 15 minutes before we round up. So this is one of the questions we created. I wanted to ask, how do I make sure that seeking work-life balance does not turn out to slothfulness and become lazy? So at the point we're trying to balance, well, because some people, you are in an organization, just like I said, you come to work and half of the time you spend time on social media, you spend time on not delivering, and then you have work piled up, and then you're complaining, I better go, it's my life, I need to enjoy. Especially, I know that Gen Z people are not here, but I've heard a lot of Gen Z giving people headache in their workplace. They're telling HR, this time is for me. If you work, people should know, I like their lifestyle, they don't care about anything. My mental health is important. But how to one balance this, not to get to that point that you become very slothfulness and just become lazy. You don't even put much effort, but you just want to enjoy life. You know, some people want to enjoy life, but they don't also want to work hard. So
yeah. So that's another extreme, right? So the another extreme is when you're not balanced work-wise. The other extreme is when, you know, you just want, maybe like you said, some people just want their health and well-being. So remember that circle of life I mentioned. We have career, we have your health and well-being, we have the community, we have the home and family, right? You can't just be at the health and well-being alone, right? That means you're actually completely out of balance. It's another extreme that people are in. So we have to find a way to balance the entire thing, right? Because actually, if you look at the way the world works, is people who are hardworking that keep life going. That's why we have. That's why we, in developed countries, that's why they have power. They have good roads. They have different things. Because some people are really working hard to do that thing. But when it now gets to the extreme whereby some people have overworked to make those things available, then we fall into the other extreme. So we must always find a way of coming back to ensure that we have a balance. Otherwise, you are out of balance by just being focused on your well-being alone, right? And you just realize that at the end of the day, you still not be happy, right? So finding that balance in career, that balances with your community, you know, your church, your family, you know, and other things is the most critical decision to do.
Okay, so thank you very much. So the last one, I know that this stirred up a bit of controversy in the group, not really controversy, but a lot of discussion around it. So you've had people that they work and their work life is affecting their relationship. So, you know, one of the things is that all of us want to enjoy life, just like you said. You mentioned something about social what did you call it again? Social capital, financial capital, having to balance this. So we're more of the success. We just want to get the money right now is needed. So at that time, you're trying to, especially when you're trying to climb your career ladder, you try to put in much effort. If you are expecting a promotion, you want to work so that they will see that you're adding value to get to that place. You put in so much effort. So my question is also in terms of relationship, because I know that you're married and you have experience in that. How have you been able to, how can one manage being a, will I call it a workaholic, or work life with your relationship life, in terms also in family. Because I remember just someone shared that story, not the way content just start circulating and start getting popular. Someone shared a story about how the dad went to pick them from airport, and the driver, the way the dad and the other sister were gisting, the man that picked them, dropped them, later called the dad and said, how did you build this thing about things with you? Wow. And the man was telling them that he was intentional and he's always there. So I know that we are all single people. And if I feel if you don't get it right when you are single, it's definitely going to affect you. You find out that some people in a family, the children are more closer to the mom. They see the mom as everything, because it's not that the fathers are not doing well, but they're not always there. They're always busy. At that point, they're busy. They're doing the right thing to make money, but they're missing out in that family time they have to spend with their kids. They don't know what is going on. And the person was sharing how the father had to create time, do a lot of things. So I just wanted to throw more light in that angle about balancing that work life and your work, your personal work and your relationship. Should somebody, if you have opportunity that your work is taking your time, should that person resign and get something that also give him or her time to focus on their relationship? Thank you.
Yeah, okay. So okay, first thing, first answer, because you have like two questions, right? First one is, work life affecting your relationship. So what happens is that when I've come to say that there's a trend, and it's not just new, it's happened over time, right? Is that when people start becoming successful, right, in their career, they so much focus on that career that they forget about every other thing. Forget about marriage, forget about your family, and so many other things. So that's why you see in today's world, a lot more men and young men and women that are not married. They're in their late 30s, they're in their early 40s, they're almost 50s, and they're not married. That happens a lot because people sort of like, at times, I'm not saying that's always the reason, but people tend to focus so much on career that they forget about marriage. What people don't realize that, life is like a test. What you fail, that test you fail today, you have to pass it, you meet it in front. That's why you realize that some people get married when they're in their 50s, in their mid-50s, even in their 60s at times. Some have never been married, they still get married because it creates a vacuum, in their lives, right? So what we have to realize is that you have to find that balance. And, that thing was also affecting me when I was working also, right? Because I had people in my office who were not married, right? And I knew in my mind that that wasn't how I wanted to take my life to go. So I had to start creating time for that to happen. If you're not intentional about creating time, for a partner, to date, to court somebody, right, then you'll be setting yourself into a trap. What happens is that after some time, it now becomes much more difficult for you to achieve, right? Or you now become more choosing to achieve. Then you complicate your life and yourself in such a way that it now becomes more difficult to find somebody that you like or fit into a picture of where you think you should be, right? So the earlier you do it, the better. In life, many things can always catch up, right? As people, particularly as young people, we feel as if things should be perfect. You have a dream of how you want your life to be, right? And you are building that dream in your mind and your life before you have it to happen. But you realize at times, life is not like that. Life at times, things just catch up, things change, things happen, over time, right? You don't have to set up a particular, kind of dream for yourself before you get married, right? At times you need to get married first, then that dream comes to pass. And that's how it happens at times generally. So just realize that you have to be intentional in creating time, right? What also happens is that if you're in a relationship, right? You're dating someone, you're courting somebody. If you're in a relationship and you are not creating time, it's always going to be a problem, right? When me and my wife were dating, I always saw her every day, right? Even at times, I don't get to a place until 9, 10, 11, you understand? But I always saw her every day, right? I always saw her every day, because you just have to sacrifice and create that time for it to happen. Because you realize that what you think is not important today will be very important tomorrow, right? and it can create a big vacuum in your life, so to speak. So it's being intentional, and creating that time and knowing that in life, you don't have, everything doesn't have to be complete, you understand? Sometimes things become complete along the way. Then in terms of, if your job is not giving you enough time, look at your current circumstance. Can you make adjustments with the people you work with? Let them know, let them understand that you need more time for yourself, right? If you can have that conversation and it's working, then fine. Sometimes when we keep quiet, we miss out of other opportunities that we can achieve, right? So you need to have that conversation in your place of work, right? You also need to be intentional amongst yourself. Find a way of finishing your work on time if that can work, right? And move on time, So like you said,
Right.
in Chamaka, if you are doing well, if you are delivering, people will always find after some time they start giving you, the leverage, right? So you have to look at what you can do, and if it's not working, right, you have to move on at some point in time, because ultimately it's your life, right? And you're the one who is building it. Nobody can build that life for you. Your organization
All right.
cannot love you more than you love yourself.
All right, thank you, sir. So if you are ready to tell me, be intentional, create time for yourself. I know, Pastor Kunle, while we are sharing, Mrs. Show, funny, sorry guys, time used to try and see. Some of you are complaining, I can't be calling you every day, making money. Create time for your partners and talk to them. All right. It has been an interesting conversation and we've spent so much time. Well, we're back going. Thank you so much, Pastor Kunle, for sharing your thoughts and your experience with us today. Thank you so much. But before I go, I know that
Thank you for having me.
We have our very own Pastor Jenkins. Pastor Jenkins. Pastor Jenkins,
Yes,
we've had him before. He's our zonal youth pastor. National youth pastor. And I know that he's a workaholic. Like I know him as a workaholic. He's one man that I used to think, when this man they get time rest, when did they get time for him? But if you go to the family, you will know that he's present. When you see those three boys, you know that their father is present. So please, we would like you to actually round up for us. Pastor Jenkins, good evening, sir.
All right, good evening, everyone. Nice to be here. Thank you so much, Pastor Kunle, for those perspectives shared. I was just busy enjoying myself in the chat room, all the comments and all that. Fantastic. Just one comment I would just like to respond to. I don't know who posted that comment. To say that it's boring when you go for vacation alone. And I think I agree with you. So question is, don't go alone. That's why we're a family, we're a community. You have a friend, you are a sister, you have a sister friend. Go with your sister friend. So at least when you are posing, somebody is taking the pictures, Don't do it alone, it's fun. If you're the guy, you're going, go with a brother friend. You posing, you're doing your stuff, there's somebody else around participating in the experience. And I think we should do it. We've got to be deliberate. We've got to be deliberate about it. And I pray that as we take some of these lessons, they are life lessons. They say work, no balance, life, no balance. How you don't want to balance work and life? But, there can be a balance where we try to carry one another along. There's a friend around, there's a sister in church with whom you share as a sister. You can go with them. God bless you as you take this counsel in the name of Jesus.
Amen. Thank you
pray.
So much. Sorry, sir, please, before you pray, I would just like to share a few things. Before we go, I know that some people are joining us for the first time. Thank you so much.
Okay.
So I want to let you people know that 412 used to hang out too. We did chill out sometime early this year. Pastor Kunle, you were with us now, that you were swimming like a fish. We did hackup. We played ball. We did bonfire night, and it was very, very interesting. We didn't even want to go home. It was just one night. So we're going to plan that again, even if to go as a group. It's also a way of us unwinding, just close work and rest. So it has been an interesting conversation, but let me remind us again, 412 is a platform for what matured working class single. It's under the youth ministry of Foundation of Truth Assembly. Here we discuss issues like this. We discuss issues that have to do with singles and ways in which we can live our lives as Christians and influence our world. So that's what we do here. So if you're joining us for the first time, you are very much welcome. If you're joining us, you can drop your number so that we can add you to the group. You can also invite your friends. This is where we hear the truth. We hear the truth in a Christian way, in a godly way. We are supposed to be the light out there. So what we learn here helps us also when we get to our office, we shine the light. Just look at what you've learned here today. If you get to your office, you know that, oh, I need to prioritize this, I need to prioritize this. And you are living a very good life. People will see you and envy you. So this is what we do here. Thank you so much for joining us today. I see everybody on the call. I can't call it for everybody's name, but thank you so much. Also, let our pastor pray for us now. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Shall we pray? Lord, we thank you for this opportunity tonight. Thank you for everybody that has come here. Lord, we'll pray for grace to be able to balance our lives in the name of Jesus Christ. We pray for wisdom, above all, the wisdom to make right choices in the name of Jesus Christ. We'll pray for as many people going through a transition in their job. They probably have lost a job and they are looking for another opportunity. We'll pray that you will bring new opportunities in the name of Jesus Christ. We'll pray for those who are going through a very stressful period in their lives now, that you will provide help and comfort in the name of Jesus Christ. The Bible says, come boldly to the throne of grace that you may find mercy, obtain mercy and find grace to help in time of need. In our time of need, Lord God, we will not be stranded in the name of Jesus Christ. As many people that ask you, Lord God, for help to be able to strike a balance. They are working so hard. There's even no little time to even rest. There's not enough resources to even say, let me go and do this vacation. I pray that God will bring you into rest in the name of Jesus Christ. God will upgrade you. He will promote you. He will lift you. He will honor you doubly in the name of Jesus Christ. And the Lord will settle you. As many of us who are trusting the Lord for a life partner, the Lord will settle you in the name of Jesus Christ. The help that your life needs to be truly balanced, may God supply that help in the name of Jesus. May He connect you with that help in the name of Jesus Christ. May you finish it well in the name of Jesus. Blessed be the name of the Lord. In Jesus' mighty name, we are prayed. Amen. God bless
Thank you
you
so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Pastor Kunle.
Thank you, Pastor Kunle. God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Show. Thank you, Mrs. Show, for standing with us. So thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Faithful, I'm a sister. Oh, we can go on the vacation. No, let's start saving money. I know people that are saving money. Let's start saving money so that we can go on that vacation. They say it's sister vacation. It's very important. But for one, let's plan now. Let everybody plan now. At least let's be looking at September, October to go for another chill out.
Yes.
President, what do you think?
We are working on it. Don't worry, very soon.
We can do so many things. So. All right, thank you everybody for joining. Please, let's try and rest. Let's try and rest. Let's prioritize our health. Try as much as possible to check your BP regularly for the guys and for the ladies too. If you know that you work so much and you don't have time for yourself, check your BP. It's very, very important.